Ja, bekend ontvangen.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay,
As I said last time, Shmuel Bet is a transition of David HaMelech from a general to a politician, and it's not an easy one for two reasons. Number one, I'm talking especially about the Jewish people. Sometimes it's easier to deal with your enemies rather than your own people.
It's always easier.
And it's always easier. Okay, I wanted to keep it like natural.
Yeah, but you're a nice guy, I'm not.
This is number one. Number two, it's a completely different set of skills. A general needs a certain arsenal of skills, which are very good in the battlefield. The goal is to defeat the enemy as soon as you can. In politics, you have to think about the long run also. To compromise, to settle, to take into account all kind of consideration that might have effect on your future. And some excellent generals are not politicians. But let's see Israel, for example, because it's a very good example. Most of the politicians in Israel have somehow military career, at least until the past. Arik Sharon, Moshe Dayan, the people
Boogie
before
Allen.
them did not have
Boogie Allen, no?
Boogie Allen. It's very common to see people who finish their army, they go to be politicians. First of all, because apparently after the army you are a little bit bored and you are looking for a place where you can use your skills. But it's more than that. They believe that the same skill that made them good generals will make them good politicians. But they're wrong. Because yes, certain things, how to build a team and how to motivate people, this is important. But this is not the only thing which is important. There are all many other things which sometimes your past experience might be a problem, an obstacle, when you become a person who has to deal with your own people and to settle all kind of tensions, not by the sword, but by your personality, by your charisma, by your ability to bring people who are different than you into the circle. And we saw that immediately after Shaul died, and obviously David is not chased by Shaul anymore, the main concern that the Tanakh is telling us about are the people of Yavesh Gilad. The people of Yavesh Gilad still feel loyal to Shaul, and apparently for the people of David, and maybe David himself, this is a reason for concern. It's going to show that not everyone is going to be so enthusiastic about David. After all, Shaul was mostly the king of Binyamin, which represent the other people than Yehuda. And what does that mean to the person who see himself maybe the king of the entire Jewish nation, but after all, he belongs to the Shevet of Yehuda? So what David is doing, something very interesting, he sent them a letter or a delegation and tell them that he actually appreciates the fact that they are so loyal to Shaul. This is the kind of people that he needs. And he tells them in Pasuk Vav, Ve'ata yas Hashem imachem chesed ve'emet. The same as you did chesed shel emet with Shaul, Hashem will pay you a reward, not a punishment. I'm not your enemy. וגם אנוכי אעשה איתכם הטובה הזאת, and I'm going to do also a favor to you. אשר עשיתם הדבר הזה, for doing this. Now let me ask you the question. What is, I'm going to do you a favor? Favor, what favor? He does not specify what is a favor. What does that mean? ואתה אעשה איתכם את הטובה הזאת. What favor is he talking about? The answer is, okay, let's wait. What do you think?
I don't know. They may think that he would be angry with them. They might think he, because,
Okay.
so he
So
won't
first
look
of
at them
all,
badly or I don't know.
first of all, they need protection.
Yeah.
the people of Yabesh Gilad, you have to understand, they are sitting today where in the northern part of Israel, after Beit Shan, between Beit Shan and Tiberia, the king died. They are not sitting in the center. They are actually in a position where most likely the enemies around will use the opportunity to take over Yabesh Gilad or to fight against the people of Yabesh Gilad, to harm them in all kinds of ways. So David HaMelech said, I see myself as a person who is not going to say, why should I care? They belong to Shaul. These are not my people. On the contrary, Anochi Esei Machem Tova. So the Radak said, he promised them protection from the enemies who might think after Shaul died that these people are just like easy prey.
He buys their loyalty.
I'm sorry?
He gets their loyalty this way.
Right. And by this he said, listen, not only that I'm your enemy, I'm actually your protector. Number one. And then he continues and says, Ve'ata techezakni hayedeichem, be strong, ve'heyu li bnei chayil, and be brave. Ki met adoneichem Shaul, because Shaul died. Ve'gam oti mashchu Beit Yehuda lemelech aleihem. And you should know that the people of Judea made me their king. Now, the two parts of the pasuk does not going together. He has to say, listen, I'm going to protect you. Number two, you know, already I'm the king of Judea. Maybe I'll be your king too, or something like this. But the pasuk put them together. Now, what is the meaning of "Ve'ata techezakna yedechem"? Be strong and be brave. Ve'yu libnei chai. What does that mean?
He wants their support.
Well, yeah. So,
So
listen
who's
to
in
this.
the background? Who's in it?
In
Is
the
there any?
background is what's that? I've never been there.
Avner Ben Er is going to enter the stage
Yeah,
in the next pasuk.
But he could grab them to be with him because they
Maybe,
were,
yeah,
with
we are
Shaul.
going to see that in a second. What is Avner Ben Er is planning? But what David is actually tell them.
He made Adonechem, so you may be giving up now and you're afraid. But you have to do the opposite. You have to have confidence and you have to be strong and I will back you up and not to be afraid of everybody who's around.
He wants them to fight with him, to
He's looking.
Join him
He's
completely.
basically saying, look to the
completely
future.
join him,
Look to the future. Don't look. You know.
whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To join him.
I don't think he's asking for anything. He's trying.
what does
He's
it
coming
mean?
and he wants to be their king. You know, they may be afraid that he's going to beat them up. I'm not going to beat you up, right?
So what does it mean? "Techezakna yedechem, heyu lebnei chai"? What does that mean? It's like just like a motivational speech.
Yeah.
Like, be strong. Be.
No, I think
I
it's a
thought it
fight
was
or something actually physical to do. Whatever he has in mind doing something, I don't know if it's fighting or something, to join him in whatever
Okay.
they
So
have to
according
do
to
do
the
it.
Radak, that's exactly what it is. He said, "Listen, you will be strong. I will back up you. Don't worry if anyone will try to attack you now. I'm going. Be strong. Be brave. I'm going to help you." Number one. Because now I have the ability, I have my own army, they appointed me the king, so I have my own army, I can protect you. But there is a very interesting idea of Chazal, which could be read very well in the Pasuk. Now, do you remember who was Ben Chayil?
Who?
Anshei Chayil, people who are Anshei Chayil. When Moshe Rabbeinu was advised by his father-in-law to appoint the judges, he said, you should look for people who are Anshei Chayil, among other things. In order to appoint someone to a position like a judge, a person who actually sometimes executes his power over others, you have to be Ish Chayil. And according to one opinion in Chazal, he offered them jobs. He knew exactly what is going to happen. If he's not offering anything, you are going to a negotiation with someone who, you know, is not loyal to you, he's loyal to someone else. What reason in the world he has to join your forces? only if you offer him something. And that's what David did. David said, you are joining me. You cannot expect anymore to get jobs from Shaul. Shaul Adoneichem met. You will need jobs. The important people will need their positions. I'm going to give it to you. ואתה תחזקנה ידיכם, your hands are going to be strong because I'm going to provide you with all kind of important positions. והיו לבני חיל, who is going to do it? Me. כי מת אדוניכם שאול וגם אותי משכו בית יהודה למלך עליהם. I don't give you like an empty promise. I'm going to be the king. A king needs all kind of positions. An officer here, an officer there, a treasurer, you are my buddies. I'm going to offer you positions. That's a different language. It's not the language of a general, it's a language of politician. What are they doing? How do they
It's called negotiating.
get people? They bribe them in a way. But you know what? That's how politics works. And according to one opinion in Chazal, that's what he promised them. He said, I know you might be worried about your future. It's secured. What Shaul gave you, I'm going to give you. Now, this is very bold because he comes from Yehuda. And you know, see what happened in the Knesset. You have to see how sometimes the prime minister has to arrange his government. If he promised something to Beit Yehudi or to Aguda or to whoever, every position is on the account of someone in his party. So you have to be a very strong person to promise other people positions and not to your own people, the people who fought with you, the people who came with you. This is not simple, but David knew that he can do it. So this is a very interesting interpretation appear in the Midrash by Chazal, which make lots of sense. ואתה תחזקנה ידיכם ויהיו לבני חיל. I'm promising you, you are going to be like important people. You are not going to lose anything by Shaul dying. And you know, a person who has a position, his resistance is going down.
Do we actually see that he did give them positions?
We are going to see this in a second. What was their response? But David is becoming a politician here. Now, I think sometimes, you know, who we could learn it from Yosef, maybe. You know, we read the Parsha of Yosef and we don't think about all the politics around it. You know, it's a beautiful story. Paro had a dream. Yosef is coming. He solved the dream. Everyone is convinced. But you know, imagine that you are the officers, the minister, the advisors of Paro. Come a little pisher from the prison. Start to give the king all kind of ideas. He does not have any proof that this is the right idea. And he basically is going to, they understand very well, and this is exactly what happened, that he's going to go whoops, like he's going to be a rock star, and they are going to lose their position. And you know what? Let me tell you something. A person can be the most brilliant, intelligent, charismatic. Actually, usually it will invite much more resistance from the other people who are not as good as him. How everyone agreed that Yosef should be, or to accept, to Paro. No one said, don't listen to him, don't accept it, we have to think about it. No, everyone on the spot, the Torah said, agreed. Why? I thought a lot about this question, because if you read the Torah, and over the last few years, I always try to put myself in the room where things are happening, and I'm sure that people were very concerned about their position in the future. And the Torah is telling us something that when we read, we don't pay so much attention, but to me, the most important thing. Yosef said immediately. Now, another question, in order to introduce my theory. Paro asked him to solve the dream. He did it in two psukim. He said, this is what's going on. Mitzrayim is going to suffer enormously in 7 years. There will be not enough water in the Nile. There will be a famine. Terrible. Paro had to tell him, thank you very much. Here is your check, or I'll send you the check. Thank you very much. Shalom ubracha. Yosef continued right away and give all kind of advice to Paro, what to do. יפקד המלך פקידים, and you should collect all the chita for 7 years, build special cities for it. Sir, you know, when I invite a consultant to explain me something, I'm not looking sometimes for the whole shtick. It was not his mandate. His mandate was solve the dream. He solved the dream, end of story. Yosef takes the opportunity and he continues right away with all kind of ideas. And I think that the two questions are actually an answer to each other. Yosef knew very well that no one will accept his idea because he's the newcomer. Who wants to admit, I'm the advisor to the king for 30 years and I don't know something as simple as this guy who just came from the prison knows? How am I going to hush, to calm him down that he's not going to be afraid on his position? Because all the people there, hearing Yosef, I'm sure they thought, the king does not need us anymore.
Yeah, but they need administrators.
Exactly. What Yosef suggests, he said to the king, you should appoint people all over to make sure that the program is working. At this moment, I'm sure, like everyone, like, I'm going to be secured. He's not going to fire me. I'm going to just find another job. Everything is going to be fine. And Yosef knew that if he's not going to suggest something that will calm them down, they will resist and convince the king. After all, they are the smart, they are the higher echelon of Egypt. He just came from the prison. So he had, in order actually to make the dream and accepting the idea behind the dream, he had to deal with other issues, other obstacles. And the most important, the resistance of the advisors. I'm sure, ask people who sometimes the company bring in like an expert about certain things. They want to improve, they want to change the structure and things like this. The people around become nervous to know it. And we can understand it. We can understand it because once they come, they look into your structure, into your system, things are going to change. And everyone think about himself first of all. So Yosef said, "V'yafked hamelech pkidim." At this moment, everyone is secured, and David is doing exactly the same. Everyone will be fine, guys. Don't worry. If you worry about your positions, I'll take care of it. Relax. What was their response? This is really interesting. There is no response. There is no response. Maybe he scared them. Maybe by telling them, and you know, it's a very nice thing. Actually, David does not impose himself upon them. He just said, you should know, I was appointed by the people of Yehuda. And think about it. He does not impose himself. He said, and if you want, I'll be your king as well. Because as we said, David never pursued himself to be the king. He's the king of Hashem. He's not looking for the position. This was not what motivated David, like many other leaders. He was a leader of Hashem, Mashiach Hashem. So why should he pursue himself and to impose himself on the people of Yavesh? He could say to them, you have now no leader, I'm the leader, you have to do whatever I'm telling you. He never said that. And you know what? Someone indeed enter the stage now, and he works in a very different way. And this is where Pasuk Chet start. ואבנר בן נר, שר צבא אשר לשאול. He was the chief of staff of Shaul. לקח את איש בושת בן שאול, he took the son, the fourth son of Shaul, because remember that Shaul died with his 3 children. Apparently Ish Boshet was not capable as his brothers, maybe he stayed at home, maybe his name tells us something, he was Baishan, a shy person, not a warrior. ויעבירהו מחניים. Avner actually crossed, Machanaim is on the other side of the Jordan. He, first of all, makes sure that he's secured. Avner, as we are going to see, is a very strong person. And maybe he thinks about David what he would think about himself. Which means, if Avner Ben-Ner would be the leader, everyone who present a danger to me will be cut off. That's, as we say many times, even today, that's what happened. Everyone who's threatened the power is out. How many people, what is his name, Trump already pushed to the side? In Russia, in every place. That's the way to work. So he wants to make sure that although Shaul and his 3 capable children died, especially Jonathan, there is still kind of a flame, even small as it is, we must keep it alive. And he take him to Machanaim. This will secure him physically. And you know what? This is always happening. You know, the whole problem of refugees, why do we have the refugees? Why the refugees, when Tzahal entered Yafo and Haifa and Tzfat, why did they went to Lebanon and Jordan and Syria? Because they thought what the Jews are going to do
They're
then.
gonna come back, they thought they're gonna.
They will do exactly what
They
the
will.
Arabs will do to the Jewish if they would win the war. So for them it was quite clear that once the Jews are entering the city, they are going to slaughter them. That's, by the way, with no question, that what they would do if they would win Chas v'Chalila Milchemet HaAtzmaut. So in their mind, the most important thing is to run away to Machanaim, to here, to there. By the way, Machanaim is not far away from the Yarmouk refugee camp. So you see that all the refugees, they cross the Jordan, they are a little bit safer than they were before. When Ben Gurion promised all the Arabs that nothing will happen to them, only 20% listened to him. And listen, today, I think in the Middle East, they are the most prosperous Arab community in the entire Middle East. Yeah, of course, they are always like behind and so on, but we know the truth. No one of them, and by the way, when there was like an idea to exchange areas, that Israel will give some of the Meshulash, and
They didn't want theirs to go.
yeah, they immediately, the first thing they did are demonstrations against it.
Yeah.
They are the last one. They know exactly how
don't
well
want.
they live in Israel and how bad they are going to live under the Rashut Palestinai. So, but they couldn't believe. For 80% of the population could not believe that the Jews will come in and actually will help them or will leave them alone. That's so, you know, sometimes people behave the way they think about themselves, how I would behave in these circumstances, and they decide that the other one will do the same. But David was a very different breed of person and leader. So what is he doing, Avner Ben-Ner? He takes Ishboshet, and in Pasuk Tet, Vayamlicheu el Gilad, remember, Yavesh Gilad, the whole area of Ramat HaGolan, the middle of Ramat HaGolan and southern Ramat HaGolan of today. Ve'el HaAshuri, I don't know exactly where it is. Ve'el Israel, which is already like from the Golan to the Galilee. And from there, Al Ephraim, Shechem, all this area, Shomron. Ve'al Binyamin, ve'al Israel kulo. Avner Ben-Ner is a very powerful leader. He's not the king, but the king was his puppet. And we know that it happens many, many times. You take a puppet, and really the strong people in this country, or especially dictatorship, are the people who are heading the Shabak, the security, the internal security, the army. They are the strong people, not the president or the king. They are actually very weak. They depend on their generals. And if you want to see what kind of dynamic leader is Avner, just think about his name compared to the name of Ish Boshet. By the way, in Divrei Yamim is not Ish Boshet, it's called Eshbal, but it's the same person, because the same story appears in Divrei Yamim. Ner is a candle, but it's also nu, it's fire. Avner ben Ner. It was fire, the son of fire. Think about it. Dynamic, moving, a shaker, an influencer. Who is the king? Ishboshet. He also took from his father certain characters. We know that his father was a shy person. Nechba el hakelim. When Shmuel comes to crown him, he doesn't find him. He's over there, like the Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim behind. He's not looking even for being a king. He never thought about himself to be a king, which indeed proved itself to be a terrible thing later. So we have two people here. Avner ben Ner, fire, the son of fire, a very dynamic person. The general, which we want, by the way, to be on fire all the time. And we have a Tamevate, like Ishboshet, a person who is shy, Boshet, Busha. He's like, this person, okay, you want me to do that, I'll do that. You want me to do that, I'll do that. And he take him to Machanai. And Avner is a real leader. He's a real pusher. He going apparently and do a whole campaign. He start with Yabesh Gilad, which was apparently the stronghold of Shaul, and that's why, by the way, David tried to take them. If they will agree, then it will be much harder to other people, not as close to Shaul, not to agree and not to accept him. So he start with the nucleus, the hard nucleus of the people of Gilad, Anshe Yabesh Gilad. And then he go to the Ashuri and to Israel and Ephraim and Binyamin. He does things when David HaMelech just offer quietly and nicely, you should know the people of Yehuda, they made me the king. He does not say a word after that. Avner ben Ner is working very hard. Now, I want to say one more word about Avner ben Ner. Avner ben Ner is the general of Shaul. What happened to him in the
Where did he run to? Yeah,
in
where
the
was
in
he
the
in
war? There just was a war.
Didn't he run?
Shaul
He ran away.
was killed.
He ran-
3 were killed. Where Avner ben Ner was at this time? Chazal said that Pasuk Chet happened before the war. It doesn't say Ve'avner ben Ner, Vayikach Avner ben Ner, which will be respond to everything that happened here. The Tanakh is telling us before everything happened, you should know what happened. Avner ben Ner did not go even to the war. He knew that this is going to be a disaster. According to Chazal, by the way, he was one of the people that accompanied Shaul to Baalat Ha'ov. And from the reaction of Shaul, he understood what happened. He understood that the war is lost. People like Avner are not losing wars. They are very focused on themselves. They are opportunists. And he did not go to the war. He found an excuse. We don't know exactly what happened. He was not at the war. Not only that he was not at the war, he thought about the day after. Before the war, he already took the 4 sons of Shaul, because the house of Shaul was empty, the people were in the war, and he prepared himself to the day after. And he crossed Machanaim, and he was there. And already started the campaign to make sure that Shaul, although dead, Beit Shaul is still alive. Once you have the one person from the dynasty, you still have something to hold to. That's why I told you the communists, when they killed the Romanovs, they did not leave even like the children 3 and 5 and 11, and I think he had one of 13. Nothing. Once you have someone from this dynasty, you will have people that would like to continue the dynasty. And the Pasuk said, בן 40 שנה ישבושת בן שאול במולכו על ישראל. He was not a child, but 40 years still dependent on אבנר. ושתיים שנים מלך. And he actually managed to be the king, and we already understand what kind of king he was, because basically the real king was אבנר, אך בית יהודה היו אחרי דוד. Which tells you that the rest of the nation were not with David. בית יהודה were loyal to David. ויהי מספר הימים אשר היה דוד מלך בחברון על בית יהודה 7 שנים ו6 חודשים. So have this picture in your mind. The son of Shaul is a king for 2 years. David HaMelech in Hebron is for 7 years and a half. The Tanakh does not tell us what happened in the 5 years between Ishboshet and the end of the days of David. We will have to figure it out. But I can tell you one thing for sure. At this time, it's David against Avner. Because Avner is still there, as we are going to see. And apparently Avner himself, like this Dana Ishboshet, he knew that this guy is a klumnik, he's a gornish migornish. And here we come to a parsha which is maybe very fitting, like Erev Yom HaZikaron, one of the enormous tragedies of Chayalim in the Tzava of David and the Tzava of Shaul. Pasuk Yud-Bet. ויצא אבנר בנר ועבדי ישבושת בן שאול ממחניים גבעונה. Avner and some other people, soldiers from the camp of Ishboshet, are going from Machanaim, which is quite in the north, in Ramat HaGolan, to Givon. I don't know if you were in Givon today, you cannot get there, it's under the Rashab, but I was in Givon. Actually, the whole scene still exists until this very day. The Brecha of Givon, still there, everything is there. Givon is Aljib. Aljib is something between Ramallah and Givat Zev, something around. Okay, Givon. It's Giv'ah, Givon. There is a very hostile Arab place which is called Aljib. As I told you many times, the Arabs kept for us actually the names of the Jewish places. It's fantastic because they say the Jews have no connection to Haram el-Sharif, right? No connection. But the places where they live, each one of them still carries. This is what the most unbelievable thing. Instead of Arabize the names, they actually made them Jewish. Think about Ramallah. What do you think is Ramallah? Ramallah is Ramatayim Tzofim, Ramallah. It's like a place which is Ram, a place which is, or Nebi Samuel. The Nabi Shmuel, because he indeed lived in this area. And every Beit Jala, what is Beit Jala? Is Gilo. Gilo, the place that is mentioned in Yoshua. And every single place in Eretz Israel, which is populated by, you give me the name, each one of them is after a Jewish settlement that was there in the time before Bnei Israel went to the Galut. Who kept the names? How do we know where are they? It's the Arabs who kept it for us. And now they said, oh yeah, of course, we were first there. It's simply ridiculous. It's a miracle to me because what you try to do, what did they do in Harabite? They excavate everything. They don't want to leave anything that will prove somehow that there is a connection between Harabite and the Jewish people. But the names, they kept the names exactly the same. Maybe they know them. If they will change the name, people will not arrive home. They will ask questions. People will not know. Like, let them stick with something that they know for hundreds of years. They cannot learn it new. So it's quite amazing. So Givona is Aljib, a village, quite a big one. Givon, and the interesting thing they have there, like a humongous brecha, as we are going to learn here, a pool of water when they go down. So everything just tells you that this is a place that is mentioned in the Tanakh, and now they try to deny the connection between the Jewish people and their land. It's unbelievable. Anyway, interestingly enough, you see every time that Ishboshet is mentioned with his father. This was his claim to fame. It was nothing by himself. The whole yichus, the whole thing he had was that he was Ishboshet ben Shaul. This was the reason why Avner took him with him, because he needed him only to be the shield behind basing his power and develop it. And what happened in Givon? ויואב בן צרויה ועבדי דוד יצאו ויפגשום על בריכת גבעון יחדיו וישבו אלה על הבריכה מזה ואלה על הבריכה מזה. In Givon there is quite a big bריכה. It's really interesting. It's a huge one. Like the diameter of the bריכה is bigger than this shul, and there are like steps that are going down in order to bring water until this very day. Today maybe they connected to the pipes but the bריכה is there. Now let's read carefully what happened there. ויצא אבנר בן נר ועבדי ישבושת בן שאול ממחניים גבעונה. Was it just, it happened that they arrived to Givon, or they went to Givon? They went to Givon. פסוק י"ג ויואב בן צרויה ועבדי דוד יצאו ויפגשום על בריכת גבעון. Apparently, what happened with the people? Was it like random that they meet each other over there? From the psukim, from your reading, was it like a random thing that they just one camp met the other one, or it was like deliberate one? What do you think from reading the psukim?
Planned.
It was planned. Clearly, Avner went to Givon, and Yoav ben Tzruya, apparently upon hearing that Avner is going to Givon, he is going to Brechat Givon as well. And actually, apparently, arrived before him. Because from Machanaim to Givon, it's about 80 kilometers. From where David was in Hebron to Givon, it's maybe 20 kilometers. So apparently, upon hearing somehow that Avner is making his way to Givon, David and his people, Yoav ben Tzruya, the general of David, and his people are going to Givon. Givon apparently was a very important place. They planned to go to Givon, and they met each other in Givon. What was the importance of Givon? Apparently Givon was a place that the two camps felt that they have to be there. Why? Remember what we said in the last time, why Hashem told David to go to Hebron. If you control the religious center, it's easier to control the court, the government, because people are already coming to your area for spiritual needs. Hebron is a place where the Avot were. What happened in Givon? Givon was also a very important religious center. What happened in Givon? So you might not know, but after the war, Shiloh, in the beginning of Sefer Shmuel Aleph, was destroyed. And the Aron that was brought back by the Plishtim, all the story, we didn't learn it unfortunately, but they captured the Aron and then they sent the Aron back to Eretz Israel. This Aron could not go back to Shiloh. Shiloh was destroyed. Where did they go? To Givon. And why to Givon?
It was 130 years, no?
Right. And why to Givon? Because Givon was indeed a spiritual place. Do you remember what happened in Givon? The famousness of... Exactly. Everyone in Eretz Israel knew that this place of Givon is where Hashem showed one of the greatest miracles to the people in Israel after Yetziat Mitzrayim. Shemesh beGivon dom ve'yareach be'emek Ayalon. So a place that Hashem showed the nation the greatness, the miracle became holy by the common memory and became a place where the Aaron moved into. It was now like part of a whole religious system, a miracle that happened in the place, and now the Torah is in this place until David will take it later to Yerushalayim. So Givon was a very important place. Where is Givon, by the way, until today? Hevel Binyamin. Givon is part of Hevel Binyamin, Pisgat Zev, there is Pisgat Zev and Givat Zev, which is closer to Givon, Givat Zev, okay, are part of Binyamin. It belongs to the Shevet of Binyamin. And if we can read in Sefer Yeshua, it says clearly that Givon was part of Shevet Binyamin. As I tell you, today, Al-Jib is what's supposed to be the Moatza Ezorit Hevel Binyamin, which has Beit El and Adam and all the area of this area. So let me ask you a question. Who was the guest and who was the host in Givon? If we think about Avner and Yoav, who was the host, who was the guest? Who was a native? Who was indigenous? And who was like invader?
It's in Binyamin, so really it's Shaul's territory.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of
course.
Home.
This was the territory of Shaul. This was the territory of Shaul. Yoav was the invader. Yoav had nothing to do there. But this is what happened with generals. Because the story now is not going to mention David at all. David was removed from the story. What we are going to read until the end of the Perek is fight between generals. And Yoav was very, very strong, very, very tough, and well experienced, because he was one of the people that went with David, and they fought. They were real fighters. He actually entered Givon as persona non grata. He was not the person that was supposed to be in Givon. He was the unwelcomed person to Givon, but it was important for him to be in Givon. Once he heard that Avner is on his way to Givon, he wanted to be there too. Why? Because this is a fight who is going to be the king. They both understand very, very well what's going on here. Avner tried to continue the legacy of Shaul. For Yoav, the king is David HaMelech. Maybe he is not fond of the approach of David. You should know that Bnei crowned me. Maybe you want to join. No. He's a person of a sword. He is going to make few facts on the ground to make sure that indeed everyone except David. And winning in Givon is going to be very, very important. Because the one who is going to win Givon in a real military clash, most likely is going to be recognized by everyone as a ruler. If you have a strong army, if you have a strong army position, you are the ruler. That's why we have to understand what happened here. They arrived to Givon, a place of Shaul, because they are going to fight on the hearts of the people of Givon. From Givon, there will be a huge consequences. Who is going to solidify his kingdom? And here, a terrible tragedy is going to take place. ויאמר אבנר אל יואב. Avner understands very well why Yoav appears in Givon, a place that he's supposed to be the host, the person, the strong person. ויאמר אבנר אל יואב יקומו נא הנערים. You have your soldiers, I have my soldiers. וישחקו לפנינו. Let them play. Let them fight against each other. ויאמר יואב יקומו. We already saw that this was in the old time, this was maybe the best war. Why killing like hundreds of people, thousands of people? What's the need? If you manage to kill the leader, if you manage to win one battle, you are the leader. That happened with Goliath. Remember, it was actually one person against another person. If one person representing the camp A is going to lose, camp A lost. Camp B is going to lose, camp B is going to be the loser. So Avner, representing the old system, by the way, when do we have this idea? Until this very day. In the chess game. In the chess game, you can have all the soldiers and all the parashim, cavaliers, how do you call them, like the horses, and the bishop and everything, and the castles. Once the king is under mate, it's gone. And it's a very old game. Apparently, the principles of chess representing the way they used to have wars in the old war. I'm pretty sure that it comes to just a duplication of the philosophy of wars in the old days. And we know that it's a very old, it's thousands of years old game. Maybe. So the people are sitting like one on this side and one on this side, which means there is no clear decision who is the winner, who is the loser in this between these two camps. And Avner suggests, you know what? Let them fight. The winner will win. I assume that Avner believed that his people are much stronger than the people of David, especially in the use of cherev and tchanit. We are going to see what kind of expert Avner was in charavot. We are going to see it in a second. He was an unbelievable expert in the use of sword. And it's very easy to assume that Avner taught his people and trained his people to use the sword in a very sophisticated and powerful way. So he suggested, let them fight against each other, apparently believing that his people are going to overcome the people of David. But you see here the language of Avner. ישחקו הנערים לפנינו. And Chazal say that in the next parak we are going to read about Avner being killed for this word. The blood of Bachurei Israel, you call it a game, you call it Mishrak. What is it? It's a game. You have no understanding what does it mean, every Jewish life, and you call it a game? But you know what, sometimes people, when they come to power, they see everyone like just a servant of their needs, and they are serving his power. For them, it's a game. It's really a game for them. And they lose from the position of power and ambition, they lose the value of life. Everyone's supposed to serve them. And we are going to see that the entire parak should be read from this angle, from this prisma of people intoxicated with their power. Because what is happening from here now, this downhill slope, is people who are intoxicated with their own power, as we are going to see. ויקומו ויעברו במספר 12 לבנימין ולאיש בושת בן שאול ו12 מעבדי דוד. Why 12 and 12? Exactly. The question, who is going to rule the tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes. So they took each one 12 soldiers to represent the idea behind this war. It's not really just for amusing themselves in a war between two groups. It's about who is going to be the ruler and the king of Klal Yisrael. ויחזיקו איש בראש רעהו. So imagine the picture, like one person stand here, I stand here, he hold him, and then using apparently upon like a clap or a shot or whatever it was, they take their swords and they stab each other, and the 24 people together within seconds are actually sunk in their own blood. They just, all the 24 are being killed. And you see how the Tanakh use here the words ish berosh re'eu, they are chaverim, vecharbo betzad re'eu. After all, these are like brothers. Vayiplu yachdav. We talk about achdut, but can you like the irony in this pasuk? They were together because they were indeed together. The whole thing is so sad that people from the same nation are fighting each other. There are no winners in this battle, only losers. And the Tanakh, when the Tanakh tells it from his point of view what happened there, not from the point of view of Avner who see it at the Mishrak and Yoav who join in, from the Tanakh, they are friends. They are together, and you know what, until this very day in Israel, sometimes you read the newspaper and you think to yourself, oh, the people are so enemy. You just have to see how people behave in the army. People from different camps, one come from the Shomer HaTzair, one come from Bnei Brak, Yechidah Charedit. When they come to the army, they're all friends, they're all brothers. It's very known in Israel, Ata achi, the most, my brother. It's like everyone is a brother. The two generals, it's Yoav and Avner, intoxicated by their own power. They see them as like these pawns on the chess board. ותהי המלחמה קשה עד מאוד ביום ההוא. You know, there is no war described in the Bible קשה עד מאוד. Just Jews fighting each other, it can be קשה עד מאוד. There were very difficult wars. But the only war, I think, in the Tanakh that defined as קשה עד מאוד is this war between David, or the soldiers of David, and the soldiers of Avner. וינגף אבנר ואנשי ישראל לפני עבדי דוד. The message of the perek is never ever initiate a war between brothers. Avner started it, and he was a big loser of this war. You never use your own power against your brother. You cannot win it. You will always lose. And the message that Hashem sent to Avner, you want to be the king? This is not my choice. My choice, David is going to be the king. And Dafka, because you try to force your power over David, you are going to lose. That's exactly what is going to happen in the rest of the perek. I think we will stop here, because the next part is about Asahel. It's a whole story by itself. Okay, shkoyach.
Just to clarify, really,
tight.
but you said like both sides lost. So why is it that?
And you are going to see one lost and one lost.